Hi.
Hey. That sounds like Bane at the start of it. Have you noticed that? You're watching PBDC, and now you can die.
Hi, Shelby. How are you, sis? Hi, Henry. How are you?
You can now say hi.
Every time I see a countdown, I feel like yelling, "Blast off!" You should. As you should. Guys, make sure to share this out, please. We are talking tonight about an Australian serial killer. Or not serial killer,
I was going to say the Katherine Cannibal. But no.
Well, she's not a serial killer, just one person.
She only killed one person.
But
she is the cannibal wife.
Cannibal wife.
And she actually didn't commit cannibalism. It's weird.
Well, she was about to serve it to her children. Mm-hmm. Yes.
The children were all grown up. That one that they were talking about in the article I showed you, the kids were already at the kid that she did it to mock them.
She had the intention of feeding it to them, but it was stopped by the police.
Babe, the notes are actually wrong on that. She all the kids, the youngest was like 25.
No.
It was John. Sorry.
No, I get that they're older, but she was saying that she had the intention of making it in a way that they would eat it.
There was she placed dinner for them is what happened.
Yes.
But there was an incident that happened that people that caused her to get very vindictive, that's what made her want to kill.
Do we have pictures of the red face?
Yeah, actually we do.
Okay,
so let's get into it for us, and we'll actually get into her anger, so then we'll show
the pictures. Hey, you're insane. Hey, Calvin, what's up?
Hey, Calvin.
Love your tattoos. Oh yeah, thank you. This one needs to get fixed. This one is for a friend of mine that still needs to get fixed.
On Samo?
I'm more like Dimebag Kenny G.
The guy who did it, like they literally they're like. You're like, I want Dimebag Daryl, and they're like, he's like, I'm a huge Phil Anselmo fan.
Somebody said they can fix it, so.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Let's do that. So let's get into this. I'm going to start with talking about her, and then going to go to him, and then we're going to go to her, and then blah 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 blah. But that's what we wanted was a picture. I don't. Okay.
No, there's a reason why I want to wait because it's
No,
she turns.
I want to wait. I just wanted to know we had it. So let's start with this real fast. Under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107. Certain uses of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research is not an infringement of copyright. Also, there's going to be a lot of trigger warnings. We're talking about cannibalism. We're talking about murder. We're talking about all kinds of craziness in this one. Warning, the related content may be disturbing to some individuals, so viewer discretion is advised. Now. Oh, yeah. I think the heat got to us on Friday, and we both kind of just passed out, and not going to lie, totally just didn't wake up till 8.
I wasn't feeling good at all. Like, no. Well, it more or less started on Thursday.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, we passed out and didn't even have the opportunity to announce, hey, we're not going live, because we woke up after. I'm all pretty sure they already figured it out. So, sorry about that. All right, let's get into this. So, we're talking about Katherine Mary Knight, known as Kathy Knight. Kathy Knight. She's the first Australian woman to be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. She was convicted for the murder of her husband or partner, John Charles Thomas Price, in February of 2000, and is currently imprisoned at the Silverwater Women's Correctional Center in New South Wales. Knight stabbed Price to death, skinned him, then put his skin on a meat hook.
That's not a knife. Sorry.
She then cooked his head and parts of his body with the intention of feeding them to Price's children, but was stopped by the police before she could do that.
They say that, but everything I've read, everything I've heard, Nadine, what's up? Hey.
Hi, how's the concert going?
It was more or less to, like I said, to mock his kids and say, look, I have full control over your father now.
Well, yeah, but it was still presented as food.
Yeah. She even skimmed the fat off the gravy and all that stuff.
All right, so let's talk about John Charles Thomas Price.
Yeah, Pricey.
Born April 4th, 1955.
Let's show a picture of them together real fast.
Okay, sure. Here they are.
That's them.
Apparently really sunburnt.
See, and the thing is he was a minor, I think, and he had a 6-figure year income too in the 90s. Minor
as in,
coal miner,
not
like that. Or yeah. He wasn't a look at that elderly child right there. Smoking and chugging beers.
So John Charles Thomas Price, born April 4th, 1955, and died February 29th, 2000, was an Australian father of 3 who was murdered by his wife, Kathy Knight. So let's get into a little bit of backstory. John Price was born on the 4th of April, 1955. He was the eldest of 6 children.
By the way, the 4th of April is the Australian Independence Day.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is.
John had a very limited education. When he left school at the age of 14, he could barely even read or write. So he was a very hard worker, though, and he worked in heavy machinery, earth-moving equipment, actually, trucking, and mining. John married his wife, Colleen. They had 3 children together, a son and 2 daughters. And in 1988, he split with his wife, Colleen, after 15 years of marriage, but they remained on good terms. He then met Catherine at a local pub, and the two started dating. It was a volatile relationship, and Kathy became deeply paranoid that John was cheating on her, and they would split up and reconcile multiple times.
You guys have to understand that Katherine Knight was extremely volatile, to the point to where the town that she grew up in, they all feared her because she would just snap on the drop of a dime. And she was also a very Amazonian woman. She was 7 inches taller than John Price.
Shit.
She was stronger than him too, and he was a coal miner and stuff like that. trucker, everything. And like he could not defend against her. She was a butcher.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah, that is a good beer. But she was a butcher, and she was very, very good at being a butcher too.
Apparently. So John Price desperately wanted to end the relationship with Kathy for good, but he was worried that Kathy might start to target his children if he ended it. So during the afternoon of the 27th of February, a physical fight actually occurred, whereby Kathy grabbed a knife and attempted to stab John. The next day, John confided in his co-workers that he thought that he was a dead man. His boss actually offered him to stay at his house that night, but John refused.
Well, it's like you said, it was the logic of he really believed that if he didn't go home, this actually went on for a few weeks. They had to, it took 3 weeks for the police to force her out of his house.
Hey, Dizzy!
Hi, Dizzy! What's up, man? It took like 3 or 4 weeks to force her out of his house. And in that span of time, obviously he died before that. He had offers from friends and stuff like that, or was told, hey, go stay at a hotel. And he flat out knew if he did that, she would go after one of his kids, or start going after his kids.
Well, so on the day that he died, actually, he stopped at the Scone Magistrates Court on his way to work and took out a restraining order in an attempt to keep her away from both himself and his children. Yeah. That afternoon, Price told his co-workers that if he did not come to work the next day, it would be because he was murdered.
It's one of those ominous things that you just try never to say.
Yeah.
You know? Even if you're joking around about it, I would never, I just couldn't say that. You guys, I'm not going to be at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden, boom.
And then it happens. So Price arrived, despite their pleas that Price should not return home, he stated that he was afraid that Knight would kill his children if he didn't. So he arrived home to find that Knight, although not there herself, had sent the children away for a sleepover at a friend's house. He then spent the evening with his neighbors before returning home and going to bed at 11 p.m. So the kids were not in their 20s.
Oh, thanks, Dizzy. I'm excited to bring that up. Yes, Wednesday. This coming Wednesday.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
Interviews. I guess we're going to talk about that.
Chit chat with a car chit chat, whatever.
Not shit chat. You don't want to shit chat.
No.
It's sorry.
But we're going to be talking about something a little bit more
I'm just behind
heavy.
I'm just behind the curtains.
Sometimes not behind the curtain.
Look, babe, it really smells in here. Can we just not shit chat so much anymore?
Sometimes not behind the curtain, even.
Just in another room when I'm producing. No.
You just literally walked in. Hey! Oh, wait, we're live.
Oh. I forgot. Like I was like, okay, we pushed it back because
we came in at like 7:01, and I was like, "You want to go live?"
Oh, okay.
And he was like, "Yeah, let's do this." So I was like, "Woo!"
Because wasn't he just got back from Walmart or something like that?
I don't remember.
Otherwise
had something to do, and he was hurrying, and he really got back on time. But I panicked, so I moved the time, and then he got here on time, and then we started it on time.
Yep.
So yeah,
it was just like one of those things. And all of a sudden I popped in, and was like, "Hey!" I was like, "Oh, you're live." I just came in to say hi to him before you guys started.
So, earlier that day, Knight had bought new black lingerie and had videotaped all her children while making comments which have been interpreted as crude will.
She was setting things up to try to have the plea of so what she would do with all of her exes, all the people she was with. She very much complained that she had her own kids. They were molesting her kids. She would always say that. She always used that. And then she would also use the, oh, well, he's very abusive to me, and never ever once like tell her side of the story or tell what really happened.
So she later arrived at Price's house while he was sleeping and sat watching television for a few minutes before having a shower. She then woke up Price. They had sex, after which he fell asleep.
Oh, no problem, Dizzy.
No worries, Dizzy. So now I'm going to jump back over to early life and family for Katherine Knight.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun.
Hey, Ivar! How are you?
Ivar, what's going on, man?
All right, so let's go into the early life and family. Katherine Knight was born and raised in an unconventional and dysfunctional family environment. Her mother, Barbara Rogan, born Thorley, had been married to Jack Rogan and lived with him in a small town of Aberdeen in New South Wales, Hunter Valley.
You ever seen, well, obviously we've all seen Mad Max, right? They are the Mad Max family. They are like the Hills Have Eyes family for Australia. And they were very, like, it wasn't just her. They were all fucked up. Sorry.
Well, so Barbara and Jack had 4 sons before Barbara began an adulterous relationship with Ken Knight, a friend and co-worker of her husband. The Rogan and Knight families were well known in the conservative rural town, and the affair caused a major scandal. So local backlash forced Barbara and Ken to move to Moree. None of her 4 sons went with her. The 2 eldest boys continued to reside with their father, and the 2 younger sons were sent to be raised by an aunt in Sydney. Barbara and 4 additional children had 4 additional children with Ken. Wow. Apparently she thinks it's a clown car.
They let me show the real picture of Katherine Knight here. You're gonna see she's glowing with rosacea.
Awesome! I'm glad to hear it. How was your day back? He went door-dashing again.
Oh!
So
Ivar's the one who said was going door dashing.
Yeah!
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
I had plans to do this, like, cool. I'm sorry, Ivar, I'm, like, saying your whole plan, but, like, it's the coolest thing.
It's a cool
in the
idea
world.
because I had to say the way DoorDash does stuff because you could just turn like I do.
He's going to travel across the country.
Like I do, I do Grubhub and Uber Eats and all that stuff. And like, if you have to work in the area that you're assigned to, whereas
so
like DoorDash, it's so cool that you can just go anywhere, just turn it on and go.
Yes, getting the Legion in here.
Yes.
Can you guys start saying we are Legion? Oh, you might get into it with.
No, that's an actual.
Yeah, no, but Anonymous says that.
No, but that's
we are many, we are Legion.
That's the reason why they don't get in trouble.
It's biblical.
It's biblical. It's all this stuff.
I know.
So it doesn't.
Anyway, yeah, switch DoorDash and Roadie. So okay, so we looked at Roadie.
I don't like Roadie.
It was a pain in the butt.
I don't like the whole. I know we're getting off topic here, but I don't like the whole offers.
Let's just talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Let's talk about it later. Okay. So Barbara and Jack had 4 sons before. Excuse me, that is the wrong one. Barbara had 4 additional children with Ken, including twin girls in 1955 in Tenterfield. Katherine Knight was one of these twin daughters, and in 1959, when Knight was 4, Jack Rogan died, and his 2 older boys had been living with him, moved in with Barbara and Ken. Ken Knight was an alcoholic who openly used violence and intimidation and would rape his wife, Barbara, up to 10 times a day. Wow. Sorry that I didn't know about that trigger warning, guys.
No, it's fine.
It's not fine.
No, I mean, that's not fine. I mean, it's fine about the trigger warning. And stuff.
No, it's not fine. I did not know about that.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry about the trigger warning. I think that's done.
It's
so
pretty. That part's done.
I'm sorry, guys. I actually did not know about that. So Barbara, in turn, often told her daughters how much she hated having sex and how much she hated men. Later, when Katherine Knight complained to her mother that one of her partners wanted her to have sex and she didn't want to do it, Barbara told her to put up with it and stop complaining.
Okay, see, there's the double.
There's a double standard.
Double standard. I hate men. I don't want this to happen to me, and I hate to say this, but her mother was just as bad as her, except for not as violent.
But she
it's
never deserved what she got.
She never deserved what she got, but also we don't know 100% if that's true or if they were just really sexual. And then she also turned around and
yep.
Yes.
People like that should be denutted and have the rest removed as well. And all put on an island where they can't boink each other. But like they're all stuck with nothing down there. The smoothing.
The smoothing, exactly. Well, what I'm saying with Katherine Knight and stuff, and she learned a lot of stuff from her mother, And what Katherine Knight would do all the time, like I said earlier, she would claim things about men and women abusing their children that never ever happened. And she learned a lot of that from her mother.
Well, yeah. Excuse me. So, Knight claims she was frequently assaulted by several members of her family, although not by her father. And again, these are all, not all. Some of them are probably made up.
It's all coming from her. It is all 100% coming from her. There's no one in her family who's corroborating the story in any way, shape, or form.
Jennifer, how are you feeling? Oh my God, robot leg. How are you?
Robot leg.
Did you see the X-rays?
Oh, I did.
They put a rod and they put.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And then it's wrapped up right now, so I'm calling her the cyborg mummy. She painted her toes silver, so she goes along with the robot.
That's funny.
I am so sorry that happened. Like the same day I sprained my ankle, and I was like, "Oh, ow, my ankle!" I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, never mind. Not going to complain about this."
So done with this.
I imagine so. I was like, no, I really was. I was like, oh, woe is me. I hurt myself, fractured my foot. I sprained my ankle. And then I saw that a whole entire pallet fell on her leg. And I was like,
what was it? We were in
never mind.
We were at the liquor store.
What?
And you're on crutches.
And I tripped?
No, you didn't trip. You were at the liquor. We were like sitting there in the line, and like the guy was like, "They're like, what happened?" I was like, "She fell down the stairs." And she's like, "Please stop." Luckily, they were good sports about it. I was like, "No, she didn't fall down the stairs. She sprained her ankle."
I literally was just like, "Oh God." They were laughing, and I was just like, this is real. Just joking. Just joking. So, although there are doubts about the details, psychiatrists accept her claims, and the events have been largely confirmed by some of the members. So there was some corroboration, I guess. But psychiatrists accept the claims that she had been
there wasn't
assaulted.
Like I said, there wasn't much there to say, and like I said, the rest of the family they were pretty all vindictive too.
Yeah,
they're all very much the same, with the exception, like I said, she is extremely violent.
Like the dog food diet? What? What? Dude, I'm frightened. What?
What's the dog food diet?
I don't know, and I don't want to know. Oh. No, I don't think I sent you that, but Dizzy.
Oh.
Dizzy found this disgusting page, not his fault. So somebody found this disgusting page, and I saw it, and if you guys ever see it, it's like Elmer's something. They're literally selling dog meat.
Are we sure it's not exactly?
It's not fake.
It's not fake.
It's not fake, and it's in the U.S. I don't know how it hasn't been taken down. It's just like that kid page that never got taken down.
Research on this but it's terrible. But I also want to look into it too.
I'm not going to eat a husky. Okay.
I don't want to eat a husky.
They were talking about they had this whole entire thing about like how they treat their Rottweilers well before they slaughter them and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? It was horrible.
Just playing frisbee with the dog, and it's just a saw blade. He had so much fun. So much fun.
And how humane they are.
It was so humane.
Ugh. At least the 1,000-pound spool didn't fall on me. Just the 100 pounds. So 600 pounds of spool fell on your leg? Jesus, another time. You know what? It's about time to go to commercial. So let's just do that first because we have so much to talk about, and I got to get back talking about Kathy. So we're going to this one. Yep. We'll be right back. Sorry about that. Oh, about Frank telling people you falling down the stairs. There was a post about someone who had a lady in a panic talking about the kibble diet.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to look at it. All right, so let's get back into this. Barbara's great-grandmother was an indigenous Australian from the Maori area who had married an Irishman. Barbara was proud of the fact that, and identified as Aboriginal.
We should just go ahead and show the picture of her right now. If you can see, she is not Aborigine in any way, shape, or form.
Here she is.
There she is. And now you see the red look to her face.
That's when she got angry.
Every time she got angry, and it stuck with her in later years. This is around 2000, around the time she got arrested originally. Every time, like, she would just turn this beet red every single time. This
is a bad picture too.
Yeah. There's also too, she didn't drink that much. She was almost sober most of the time.
Maybe she should have drank.
No,
I'm joking.
When she did drink, it made it even a million times worse.
Okay, fine, weed. So this was kept a family secret as there was considerable racism in the area at the time, and Barbara's descent was a source of tension for the children. Apart from her twin sister, the only person whom Knight was close to was her uncle, Oscar Knight, who was a champion horseman. She was devastated when he committed suicide in 1969 and continues to maintain that his ghost visits her.
Mm-hmm.
Continues to maintain.
No, yeah, she does.
The family moved back to Aberdeen the same year. So when she attended Muswell Brook High School, Knight became a loner and is remembered by classmates as a bully who stood over smaller children. She assaulted at least one boy at school with a weapon and was once injured by a teacher who was subsequently found to have acted in self-defense. By contrast, when not in a rage, Knight was a model student and often earned awards for her good behavior. Upon leaving school at 15 without having learned to read or write, she gained employment as a cutter in a clothing factory. 12 months later, she left what she referred to as her dream job, cutting up offal, for her dream job.
So offal is basically like all the...
It's all the
bits and stuff like that, the bones and deboning things and all that stuff.
Offal is like the innards.
Yeah, no, it's all that. But
offal.
She was also a deboner. And yeah, she would do all that stuff as a butcher.
Looking at her face, she's definitely a deboner.
Well, apparently, because she can keep these guys coming back, she had
quite the sex drive.
Quite the sex drive, and was very good at it too.
So there, she was quickly. So she worked for a butcher, and she was quickly promoted to boning. There you go. So offal is the innards, by the way, and she then got promoted to boning.
No, it's not a chop shop. What's it called again? It's the factory.
Abattoir.
No, the factories where they actually the meat processing facilities is what she worked at.
Ivar's laughing.
She was a deboner.
No. She was promoted to boning.
Boning.
And was given her own set of butcher's knives.
Went down to Bone Town.
At home, the knives were hung over her bed.
She loved her knives. She took them everywhere she could. Absolutely no joke with it. She took them everywhere she could. She kept them clean. She kept them under the car. She put them under the seats. All this other stuff.
Mid-sentence. At home, the knives were hung over her bed so that they would, quote, would always be handy if I needed them. A habit she continued until her incarceration, where she, everywhere that she moved.
Oh, yeah.
So, her first marriage. Knight first met coworker David Stanford Kellett in 1973. Kellett engaged in heavy drinking, which stemmed from two traumatic incidents.
Stanford is in. Oh, that was Stanford. I love Sanford and Son. It's one of the coolest shows ever.
Kellett engaged in heavy drinking, which stemmed from two traumatic incidents from his previous railway job in Coffs Harbour.
And being married to her.
First, when his best friend was killed in front of him in a shunting accident.
What is shunting?
I don't know what it is when it comes to...
I think it has something to do with a chute.
I don't know. I do not work on the railroad. I do not work on the railroad all the live long day. I have no clue. If anybody wants to look it up and let us know, feel free to do so. And later, when he rescued injured occupants of his school bus in Kempsey, which had been struck by a train that killed 6 children.
Oh my god! Okay, that's brutal.
Hi, Jackal.
I would. Hey, Jackal.
What's up?
I would probably, if I had to deal with something like that, I would probably be more of an alcoholic.
You're not an alcoholic, jeez.
No, I would definitely be in that.
He eventually lost the job due to deteriorating behavior and performance, but soon got work at the nearby Aberdeen Abattoir and became close friends with Knight's brother. So Knight and him actually started working together. Often, if Kellett got into a fight, Knight would step in and back him with her fists.
She was tough.
Yeah.
She was brutal.
In Aberdeen, she was well known for physically threatening anyone who upset her.
Mm-hmm.
She married Kellett in 1974 at her request, with the couple arriving at the service on her motorcycle with a very intoxicated Kellett on the pylon. God damn it. They had to say it that way.
With the tongue twister.
Whatever. He was on the bitch seat. Okay? So, as soon as they arrived, Knight's mother gave Kellett some advice.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what he said about it. The old girl said to me, "Watch out. You better watch this one or she'll fucking kill you.
She'll fucking kill you.
Stir her up the wrong way or do the wrong thing, you're fucked. Don't ever think of playing up on her," which is cheating on her. "She'll fucking kill you." And that was her mother talking. She told me she's got something loose. She's got a screw loose somewhere.
And this is coming from the lady who already has a screw loose. If the lady with the screw loose is saying, "Watch out."
Hit like a man, get hit like a man.
Yep.
I'm just going to say this real fast. If you, as a woman, if any woman hits a man in the face or the nuts, expect to get hit back. Just saying. What?
Right.
It's true.
It's the...
So, here we go. On their wedding night, Knight tried to strangle Kellett. She later explained it was because he fell asleep after only having sex 3 times.
So her parents had sex 5 times on their wedding night, and she had to outdo them. Yeah. And he could only do it 3 times on their wedding night.
It all depends on how long they lasted, too. Jeez.
It doesn't matter. She was trying to outdo her parents, and in her mind, that's where she snapped. He woke. Does it go to that next? Basically, he woke up.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Tyler. What's going on?
Don't fuck around on a crazy woman.
Yes. Especially.
Don't fuck around on any woman, but Aussie. Don't fuck around on a super
Don't fuck
crazy
around.
woman.
Bring the picture up again. Don't fuck around on this.
That's enough. Give the man a break.
Yeah. You gotta bring the picture up real fast. Don't fuck around on this. She will kill you.
And try to
look at that.
You.
Look at that right there. She'll plate you up for your children. Which is what she did.
So
by the way,
the marriage proved
October Noir is fucking awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah. By the way, go check out October Noir. You guys will not regret it at all. It's a band, in case I haven't been clear.
Tyler's
part of the band. Tyler is part of the band.
The drummer.
Yes, he is. He is the drummer.
And
I'm not even drunk. What the fuck is wrong with me? Love you guys.
Jackal Demon not doing good tonight. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't even see this. I am so sorry.
Hope you're feeling better. Did he have he's the one who had the surgery?
Yeah.
I saw those pictures, man. I'm so sorry.
Is the ciprofloxacin helping at all? I hope it is. Sorry to put that out there. So the marriage proved particularly violent, and on one occasion, a heavily pregnant Knight burned all of Kellett's clothing and shoes before hitting him across the back of the head with a frying pan. Sounds like my mom.
He actually had a skull fracture from this and still went back to her.
Simply because he had arrived home late from a darts competition after reaching the finals. In fear for his life, Kellett fled before collapsing in a neighbor's house and was treated for a severely fractured skull. Police wanted to charge Knight, but she changed her behavior to to basically getting Kellett to drop the charges.
Yeah, well, magic vagina.
Yep.
That's exactly what it was.
Grip ball.
A gorilla grip.
I don't know why we keep going blurry. So, in May of 76, shortly after the birth of their first child, Melissa Ann, Kellett left Knight for another woman and moved to Queensland. Apparently unable to cope with the abuse, the next day, Knight was seen pushing her new baby in a pram down the main street, violently throwing the pram from side to side. She was admitted to St. Elmo's Hospital in Tamworth, where she was diagnosed as postnatal depression.
Oh, God.
And spent several weeks recovering. Okay. After being released, Knight placed 2-month-old Melissa on a railway line shortly before the train was due.
She lost her shit so much when he cheated, and it was justified cheating. I'm sorry. Like he was legitimate. It wasn't like, okay, he didn't step out. He like left her is what happened.
Yeah,
because he couldn't deal with it anymore.
He was like,
the shitty thing is that he left her with his kid. But it wasn't just that. Like she actually abducted a neighbor's family and her kids. Made them try to drive her to where? Oh, are you getting there?
We haven't got there yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
So
I'm getting ahead of myself.
She then stole an axe, went into town, and threatened to kill several people. A vagrant known in the district as Old Ted, who was foraging near the railway line, found and rescued Melissa. By all accounts, only minutes before the train passed. Knight was arrested and again taken to St. Elmo's, but apparently she recovered and signed herself out the following day.
Cosmo, what's going on?
Hey, Cosmo!
Sorry, I got your message. Yeah, dude, you can. I got your message after I woke up again. I think it was yesterday or today. No, this morning. Yep.
So a few days later, Knight slashed the face of a woman with one of her knives and demanded she drive her to Queensland to find Kellett. Okay, how are you just going to go out into the middle of nowhere and not middle of nowhere. Queensland's pretty big apparently. But how do you go to Queensland and just go look for somebody?
She knew kind of where he was at. And also too, the Moree town or Moree, whatever it was called, the entire town was afraid of her. And
I would be too. Shit.
She literally she basically abducted the family and broke the door. Well, I don't think we've gotten there yet, but
well, so the woman escaped after they stopped at a service station, but by the time police arrived, Knight had taken a young boy hostage and was threatening him with a knife. She was disarmed when police attacked her with brooms.
They had to hold her off with brooms.
And was admitted to Morisset Psychiatric Hospital. Knight told the nurses she had intended to kill the mechanic at the service station because he had repaired Kellett's car.
So the guy... The family right there, they're not telling all of it. What happened was too, they hid in a freaking office of the mechanic shop. She went in there and she tried to get in there several times.
Because it kept her at a distance.
They didn't have pepper spray or like that, and they weren't going to use lethal force on her, which they probably should have because she had a knife. Which would have avoided John Price would still be alive today if they would have.
But they don't do that out there.
Yeah. But she quite literally, after a little bit trying to get into the office after the mother and child, she ripped the door off the hinges and got in there. Well, and that's how she got the boy and was holding him at knife point.
So, basically, like I said, Knight told the nurses that she had intended to kill the mechanic at the service station because he was the one who repaired Kellett's car, which allowed him to leave and then kill both her husband and his mother when she arrived in Queensland. When police informed Kellett of the incident, he left his girlfriend and moved to Aberdeen with his mother to support Knight.
By the way, the mechanic was a one-legged mechanic who had a crutch. And so when she's fighting off, when they're getting there with brooms, she ripped the crutch out from underneath him and was fighting back with the cops with a crutch. This can't get more Australian than this part right here.
So
there's nothing more Australian. There's nothing more Mad Max than this in real life. If Mad Max was real, this is it. Hey, what's going on, Cosmo?
So, Knight was released on August 9th of 1976 into the care of her mother-in-law, and along with Kellett, moved to Ipswich, a city west of Brisbane, where she obtained a job at Dinmore Meatworks. On March 6, 1983, they had another daughter, Natasha Marie. In 1984, Knight left Kellett and moved. First to her parents' house in Aberdeen, and then to a rented house in nearby Muswellbrook. Although she returned to work at the butcher, she injured her back the following year and went on disability pension. Since she no longer needed to rent accommodations close to work, the government gave her a housing commission residence in Aberdeen. Jesus, how many?
There's two. There's one more person. There's David Saunders, and then one more after that. Did we get to John Price?
And then I'm going to go back over to our other notes.
Yeah.
So let's get into other relationships. Well, Knight met 30.
Before we get into with whatever. So Kellett, what happened with him? He went to work one day, and you know what she did? Packed up and left. Just left him.
Yeah,
out of nowhere. Oh, you just said that.
I just said that.
I'm sorry. I wasn't even paying attention. But
apparently,
it's so weird to think of that. I think the reason why I want to say it is because it was so weird to think of that. Like, a lot of narcissists do this. A lot of really
reminds me of your psycho ex.
Yes. It's only over with when they want it to be over with, and if you want it over with, they're going to drag it out forever.
And over and over and over. Fuck, I hate her. So let's get to David Saunders. Knight met 38-year-old minor David Saunders in 1986. A few months later, he moved in with her and her daughters, although he kept his old apartment in Scone.
Smart man.
Knight soon became jealous regarding what he did when she was not around and would often throw him out. He moved back to his apartment, where she would invariably follow and beg him to return. And in May of 87, she cut the throat of his 2-month-old dingo pup in front of him.
Freaking Fatal Attraction right there. That is all Fatal Attraction. I'm surprised there wasn't a freaking rabbit.
She would have been stabbed by me.
I'm surprised there wasn't a rabbit in a boiling pot of water for him when he got home.
Yeah, okay, so Ivar says, serial killers are people who have had a switch flipped or driven to a point, but dang, some of them, I wonder what was running through their heads. A lot of people, all of them have borderline personality disorder, or a good majority of them do. And it's borderline personality disorder, narcissistic. They have the Machiavellianism. They usually have the dark triad going on.
The borderline personality disorder is a big thing because a lot of stunt doubles, a lot of stuntmen, stuff like that have it.
Skunts.
Yeah, but they just don't perceive that boundary of crossing boundaries as necessary. They don't even feel anything when it comes to that. Yeah.
Anybody who hurts my dogs, I go after them.
Oh yeah.
So she cut the throat of his 2-month-old dingo pup in front of him for no more reason than as an example of what would happen if he ever had an affair, before going on to knock him unconscious with a frying pan. That was her, apparently her move was the frying pan. In June of 1988, she gave birth to a third daughter. Jesus Christ, close your legs, please. And her name was Sarah, which prompted Saunders to put a deposit on a house. Knight paid off the deposit when her workers' comp came through in 1989. Knight decorated the house throughout with animal skins, skulls, horns.
Yeah, she was very
rusty animal traps.
She was very much into like dead things,
leather jackets, old boots, machetes, rakes, and pitchforks.
Well, the crazy thing too with her is, unlike other serial killers, unlike other killers and stuff like that, she was very much into horror movies and stuff like that. Like,
hold the aspirin between your legs. You cannot get pregnant if you are always doing this. That's not true. All you got to do is bend over.
That's not true. Not one bit.
Who said that?
It's not hard.
Well, it has to be.
No, it's got to be. Actually, I don't even think it has to be. You just need a turkey baster. Squirt, squirt.
After an argument in which she hit Saunders in the face with an iron before stabbing him in the abdomen with a pair of scissors, he moved back to Scone, logically. But when he later returned home to Aberdeen, he found she had cut up all his clothes. Saunders took a long service leave and went into hiding. Knight tried to find him, but no one admitted to knowing his whereabouts. Several months later, Saunders returned to see his daughter and found Knight had gone to the police and unjustly told them that she was afraid of him. Ugh.
Yeah, this is how it always goes.
And they issued an apprehended violence order against him.
Yeah. So
yeah. Sorry.
Well, okay. So one of the things with this is so I know we have one more person to get to. She was
Two more people to get to.
Well, I know. Well, we're gonna get his was only a little.
I know.
It was like this little love affair, and that was that. But before she got to John Price, this woman right here, with how violent she has been, how whatever she's done, the first time she is charged with anything, I mean, aside from going to the loony bin for a minute, but that was really, she signed herself out. It didn't matter.
I can't believe they let her sign herself out.
No,
you put your baby on the fucking track.
The first time she was charged with anything was when she killed John Price. That was the first time. Everything else, the Aussies took it as, oh my God, you guys just go work it out yourselves. It's not our problem.
You mean Amber Turd?
Amber Heard syndrome. Yes.
Amber Turd syndrome. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to do this, but did you see today when Johnny Depp's lawyer was like, I did not ask you a question. I was like, yes! You put her in her place.
Yeah, Ivar says you can't do this. Do that now. No, you can't. Actually, this case right here changed a lot of stuff for Australia because if they would have just taken it seriously from the start, John Price would have been still alive. Mm-hmm. If they would have got her out of his house pronto, like right then and there, he probably would have been worrying about a lot of stuff right now.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, I don't think he worries about much right now, but you know, I know what you mean. John Chillingworth. In 1997, Knight became pregnant by a 43-year-old former co-worker from the butcher, John Chillingworth, and gave birth the following year to a boy named Eric. The relationship lasted 3 years before she left him for a man she had been having an affair with for some time, John Price. So basically, she's a hoe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
What's up, Jeff?
I want that. What is our HPS?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't notice you had that on.
Also, I have guillotine earrings. Yeah. So you can't do an AMA from a psych ward. Yeah.
Exactly. If they would have just properly put her away, opposed to being, oh, it's just a man being beaten up by a woman, we're just going to laugh at it and let it go.
I am really hoping that this Johnny Depp thing really shows that even men can be abused.
It won't. It will not, especially with it happening here in California. It will not.
Ugh. Anyway, sorry to keep bringing up that, but yeah.
I have my own thoughts on everything what's going on with the abuse and then everything from court cases with, custody cases and all that. The courts really side.
Thank you.
The courts really side with, the opposite sex. So.
Yeah. California is a mother state. We'll just put it that way.
What are you doing? Oh.
Why?
I didn't know what you're doing. I'm sorry.
The bunnies of chaos are coming for you. The bunnies of chaos are coming for you.
Good morning.
Hey.
The damn bunnies. All right, so let's get into John Price. So we already talked about he was a father of 3 children when Knight had an affair with him. Reputably, he was a terrific bloke.
No, he was a very hard-working guy, and everyone loved him.
Well, he was liked by everybody who knew him. His own marriage had ended in 88, which we had mentioned earlier. His 2-year-old daughter had remained with his former wife, and the 2 older children lived with him. Price was well aware of Knight's violent reputation as she moved into the house in 95. His children liked her. He was making a lot of money working in the local mines, and apart from violent arguments, at first, life was a bunch of roses.
The one thing that her actual kids actually said is that she will give you the shirt off her back, but don't you ever cross her. If you cross her, that's when she's coming after you. Oh, that's awesome, Jeff.
Thank you.
Oh, Jeff said he shared everything out. That's cool. Thank you so much. But he said, they said, don't you ever cross her. And that means with her psycho mind,
anything. It could literally be anything.
She could literally wake up and have a dream that you crossed her, and then she's pissed at you. You know?
Yeah, we've met people like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. In 98, Knight and Price actually fought over his refusal to marry her. In retaliation, she videotaped items he had allegedly stolen from work and sent the tape to his boss.
Now,
although the items were out-of-date medical kits that he had scavenged from the company rubbish tip, Price was fired from the job and held for 17 years. That he had held for 17 years.
6 figures a year. And mind you, he worked there almost 20 years. He was making a shit ton of money. If that was right now, he'd be in the 7-figure range, the $1 million range. And he was just really good at his, really good at what he did, and very loyal to his job. But it, like it said right there, it was out of the trash pile. It wasn't anything like whatever. But the rubbish bin is a trash pile. Oh, sorry.
No, it's not. That shirt goes all the way up here. This shirt says, "Your heart belongs to me."
Yay!
It's my favorite shirt. Also side boob. Just want to let you know.
Also big ass titties.
Lots of side titty on that one. Wow.
Look, if we could ever do stuff on me, there's gonna be topless horror nights.
Yeah.
But no, he literally just picked the stuff up out of the trash pile.
But still considered theft, which is so stupid.
And his job was so sad when his job did not want to fire him, but it was company policy.
Yeah, well, so the same day he kicked her out and she returned to her home. While news of what she had done spread through the town. A few months later, Price restarted the relationship, although now he refused to allow her to move in with him. The fighting became more frequent, and most of his friends would no longer have anything to do with him while they remained together.
She also, I think we're going to get to this here in a second, but she really, really wanted his house. Really, really wanted his house bad.
Yeah. So, that day, let's get back. I'm going to go back to I'm going to kind of go over something I said earlier. The day that he died, on February 29th, he stopped at the Scone Magistrate Court on his way to work and took out a restraining order in an attempt to keep her away from both himself and his children. That afternoon, Price told his co-workers that if he did not come to work the next day, it would be because Knight had murdered him. Despite their pleas that Price should not return home, he stated that he was afraid that Knight would kill his kids if he didn't. Price arrived home to find that Knight, although not there herself, had sent the children away for a sleepover at a friend's house. He then spent the evening with his neighbors before returning home to bed at 11. Earlier that day, Knight had bought some new black lingerie and had videotaped all her children while making comments, which have since been interpreted as crude will. She later arrived at Price's house while he was sleeping and sat watching television for a few minutes before having a shower, then woke him up to have sex, after which he fell asleep. At 6 a.m. the next day, March 1st, a neighbor got concerned that Price's car was still in the driveway, and when he did not arrive at work, his employer sent a worker to see if something was wrong. Both the neighbor and the worker tried knocking on Price's bedroom window to make him wake up, but they alerted the police after noticing blood on the floor. The police arrived at 8 a.m., breaking down the back door. Police found Price's body with Knight comatose from taking a large number of pills. She had stabbed Price with a butcher's knife while he was sleeping. According to the blood evidence, he awoke and tried to turn the light on before attempting to escape while Knight chased him through the house. He managed to open the front door and get outside, but he either stumbled back inside or was dragged back into the hallway, where he finally died after bleeding out.
I got a feeling like he was pulled back in. There's no way. If you got out front, I'm pretty sure
You're not going to... Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she kind of knocked him down and actually dragged him back in is what happened here.
So later, Knight went into Aberdeen and withdrew $1,000 from Price's account at an ATM. Price's autopsy revealed that he had been stabbed 37 times.
Oh, it was very much rage.
In both the front and the back of his body, with many of the wounds extending into vital organs.
Stop for a second. So,
being a butcher, she would know that.
It wasn't just that. What I'm going to say here, too, there was an incident, too, that happened about a month prior to this that kicked everything off, or 2 months prior. His older kids came over, and she was there. And his older kids didn't like her one bit. They're in their 20s. Came in and saw them. She was on the porch or something like that. And it was something along the lines of, you see this? Is this your plate? And she knew it was her plate. She said, yeah. And like the older kids literally bullied her. Broke the plate, all this other stuff. I think broke it over her face. She did, or not broke it over her face. Broke it in front of her. Told her to get the fuck out of there. Told her that it was basically on the lines of leave my dad alone, all this other stuff. That's when it snapped in her, and it occurred to her to do this. She literally did nothing. She was quiet the whole time, didn't fight back or anything like that. It was quite literally the bully being bullied. And that's when she realized, that's when she was like, I'm going to have full control over him. I'm going to kill him. So
several hours after Price had died, Knight skinned him, hung the skin from a meat hook
she was
on the architrave of a door in the lounge room. She decapitated him, cooked parts of his body, serving up a meal with baked potato, pumpkin, beetroot, zucchini, cabbage, yellow squash, and gravy in 2 settings at a dinner table, along with notes besides each plate, having the name of one of the Price's children on it, and then the other. She was preparing to serve his body parts to his children. A third meal was thrown on the back lawn for unknown reasons. It's speculated that Knight had attempted to eat it herself, but could not. So,
well, she I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say with the skin. When she skinned him, it was almost flawlessly. It was almost like a curtain.
The secrets in the sauce.
It was almost like a curtain where it's
called caping.
When they looked in through the mail slot to see what was going on there, they just saw the silhouette of his skin, and it was almost perfect. They could see the look of horror on his face still. When she perfectly skinned him off. Skinned him. Sorry.
So the third meal, this has been put forward in support of her claim that she has. Okay, so it's speculated that she had attempted to eat it but couldn't. This has been put forward in support of her claim that she has no memory of the crime. Price's head was found in a pot with vegetables. The pot was still warm, estimated to be around 104 and 122 Fahrenheit, indicating that the cooking had taken place in the early morning. Sometime later, Knight arranged the body with the left arm draped over an empty liter soft drink bottle with the legs crossed. This was claimed in court to be an act of defilement, demonstrating Knight's contempt for Price. Knight had left a handwritten note on top of a photograph of Price. Bloodstained and covered with small pieces of flesh, it read, time got you back, Jonathan, for raping my daughter. Now, it actually says raping my daughter.
Yeah. Which he never did.
You to Beck, Price's daughter, for Ross, for Little John, his son. Now play with Little John's dick, John Price. Now, it's all written very poorly. But again, she was illiterate.
She was in a moment where she went ballistic and she was in berserk mode. So
she was illiterate.
Yeah.
Though.
But it was also just right then and there.
Yeah, there is a documentary on this bitch.
There is. There's actually a few of them. I think there's a couple of books and everything on them too. On her too.
You murdered my daughter.
You murdered my daughter. and everything, like I said right here, everything she is saying about her exes and all sort of stuff, it's not true. They were not. None of them are abusive towards her or anything like that.
All right, we're gonna go a little bit over. Were there any magic mushrooms involved with that? No.
No, she was sober.
She was just
She was
psycho.
She was just she was just a fucking loon.
Okay, so let's go into the trial. Knight's initial offer to plead guilty to manslaughter was rejected, and she was arraigned on March 2nd, 2001, on the charge of murdering Price, to which she entered a plea of not guilty. Her trial was initially fixed for July 23rd, 2001, but it was adjourned due to her counsel's illness, and it was refixed for October 15th, 2001. When the trial commenced, Justice Barry O'Keefe offered the 60 jury prospects the option to begin being excused due to the nature of the photographic evidence, which 5 accepted. When the witness list was read out loud, to the prospects, several more also dropped out, after which the jury was impaneled. Knight's attorneys then spoke to the judge, who adjourned the following day. The next morning, Knight changed her plea to guilty, and the jury was dismissed. It was then made public that Justice O'Keefe had been advised of the plea change the day before. He had adjourned the trial and then ordered a psychiatric assessment overnight to determine if Knight understood the consequences of a guilty plea and was fit for such a plea. Knight's legal team had planned to defend Knight by claiming amnesia and dissociation, a claim supported by most psychiatrists, although they did consider her sane. 2 psychiatrists considered that Knight suffered from borderline personality disorder, which we did say earlier. Which, by the way, this is a very misleading name for a mental illness, because it kind of makes you think like somewhere along the line of bipolar disorder, but it's not. It's narcissism. It's closer to narcissism.
Well, narcissism is actually one of the actually sub.
It's part of it. The difference between a BPD and narcissism is that somebody with borderline personality disorder, they'll apologize to you as long as they can get their way. If they think that it'll get them what they want, they'll manipulate you by apologizing. Whereas a narcissist will never admit that they're wrong, and they will damage themselves just to maintain that they are right. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the big differences. No reason has ever been given for the guilty plea, and despite giving it, Knight still refused to accept responsibility for her actions. Well,
she to this day she still says that she is she doesn't remember a thing of it.
Yeah, I personally believe it's dark triad. I do for her.
You know, I was actually thinking about this when I was actually doing the research on this. Actually, it's one of those things. I hate to say it this way, but if she was an actual serial killer and did compartmentalize, John Price might still be alive today too. Yeah. So, which actually I do believe if she was a serial killer too, she would be actually one of the few women that was actually sexual in nature with being a serial killer.
Well, so Knight still refused to accept the responsibility for her actions. At the sentencing hearing, Knight's lawyers requested that she be excused to avoid hearing some of the facts. But that was refused because fuck her.
It's so weird how they do things in like other countries of this. It's like, well, we need to make sure she's not going to hear some of the facts. She did it.
She knows she did it. She knows the facts. This,
and she's playing dumb right now because because you guys obviously have no death penalty. So she was like, I'm just gonna play dumb. Right? Yeah.
So when Timothy Lyons took the stand and described the skinning and decapitation, Knight became hysterical and had to be sedated. Whatever. On November 8th, Justice O'Keefe pointed out that the nature of the crime and Knight's lack of remorse required a severe penalty. He sentenced her to life imprisonment, refused to fix a non-parole period, and ordered that her papers be marked never to be released. The first time that this had been imposed on a woman in Australian history ever. And in June of 2006, Knight appealed the life sentence, claiming that the penalty of life in prison without the possibility of parole was too severe for the killing.
Her
What the fuck?
Her
Really?
community that she lived in were begging for this because they knew how bad she was to
Yeah.
everyone in the community. This wasn't just her being mean to her boyfriend.
No, she was a piece of shit.
She was terrible to
Is.
everyone. Everyone in her community.
In her life, it seems.
The crazy thing is if you guys are even thinking of it, how is she doing now in prison? She's thriving. She has no anger outbursts, nothing like that.
Not severe enough. Exactly. Not severe enough.
She is literally thriving in prison.
Well,
right now.
so Justices Peter McClellan and Michael Adams and Megan Litham dismissed the appeal in the New South Wales Court of Criminal Appeal in September, with Justice McClellan writing in his judgment, "This was an appalling crime, almost beyond contemplation in a civilized society." Meaning, translating into layman's terms, why the fuck would we do that, lady?
Yeah. You're absolutely terrible. You're not getting out.
So yeah,
That's it. That's
is it.
That was just actually technically a short one because usually we go a couple episodes with something like this, but
No,
there wasn't much else on her. She's just, like I said, she's in prison now and she's thriving. People love her in actually prison.
well,
She's a model prisoner.
she's currently imprisoned at Clarence Correctional Center, located near Grafton, New South Wales, Australia.
Like I said, not one incident of an angry outburst in prison. Everyone, she gets along. People listen to her.
Well, they mentioned that like in high school, when she wasn't having outbursts, she was a model student.
Ivar asked, has anything happened? Has anything like that happened in the U.S.?
Lorena Bobbitt.
Well, yeah. That's another one, actually.
We haven't really covered her yet. I mean, we've talked about her a little bit.
Yeah.
But
she was actually, I think, terrible to John Bobbitt. I mean, he wasn't the best of people either, but he wasn't as bad as she was trying to portray.
Nobody really deserves to get their wing chopped off except for like
especially if
a rapist or a child molester.
It's like all she had to do was break up with him. It wasn't like they were kind of like in a toxic relationship together.
Yeah.
But luckily they found him on the side of the freeway and then he made porn after that. John Bobbitt went into pornos. Seriously, that's true. That is very true.
So
apparently they found it.
How?
They found it, and they found it with enough time to reattach it and got the blood supply back to it, and it didn't go necrotic or anything like that. He still has his dick. I mean, it's not complicated. He went into porn. He also had some other surgeries too. Yeah. We're prior to this.
I'm sorry.
It's like one of those. I think it's like one of those things where you make the deal with the devil.
Did he get a dick donor?
What was that like on Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell? The flip instead of doing the twist.
Oh God.
John Bobbitt made a deal with the devil, and this isn't happening in the show, but I'm just saying, like, he makes a deal with the devil. The devil has his woman cut his dick off, and then they make it bigger,
get a bigger dick,
and then he goes into porn.
And it's still functional.
It is. I don't know how they saved it fast enough. I don't even know how the hell they knew where it was at. I think she said I threw it off on the side of the.
Well, she actually showed it.
Did she?
Jennifer's right. She did show them where it was.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I always thought she had shoved it up his ass.
Wasn't it? No, wasn't it? That was one of the rumors, actually. I heard that too when I was a kid. Wasn't it something like on the side of the 101 or something like that? It was down in Los Angeles.
It was something like that. Like,
just a freaking
okay, I'm rarely speechless, but today,
dick slap from a car. just that squeaky sound was like, it just falls off, and he just like that, and then right there. That's the butterfly effect. It changes that homeless man's life, and he goes and becomes president. So I'm not doing this no more.
And I'm not going to say a damn thing.
I was about to say
something flew out of my mouth.
Well, something almost flew into someone's mouth.
We are not political.
All right. That is that's everything. We're done. We're out. That's our time.
Oh man! Well, thank you guys for sticking with us on this interesting show.
I think Stephen P. Kitty Cat is he'll be back in a week.
Yes,
with a new episode. A week from Monday.
You know, tomorrow enjoy your holiday, have fun with your friends and family, and honor those who have died for our freedom in our country. That is how political we will get.
We're going swimming tomorrow
with a veteran from another country, actually.
A Swede.
A Swedish veteran who was in Bosnia. And if you guys ever get the chance, our Christmas episode from last year, we were supposed to be talking about Kevorkian.
The year before last.
Was it?
The last Christmas. I'm sorry, a year from last Christmas. So we were going to talk about Kevorkian because they were like Angel of Death on Christmas. Wow, cool. But then Carl was so much more interesting. Talking about actual fights in Bosnia. Yep.
So if you guys get the chance, go check out our Kevorkian feed.
And Wednesday is your interview with
And Tony. Well, hold on. So Monday we're gonna take a break. Tuesday we will let you know if Mikey is on. I think right now, because it's coming into summer break, we're gonna have some people just go into summer break. So if that happens, we'll announce that. Wednesdays is now gonna be Chit Chat with a Caw, and I will be interviewing Dizzy this Wednesday. And it is going to be really interesting, actually, because you guys think I'm just going to talk about his character. Well, you are wrong. You are in for a treat. Wait, this one.
That's not Oni, is it?
That's Dizzy.
Oh, I was going to say.
And
there's Oni. You have him upside down.
Oni! So you know him. You love him. He's crude, rude, and awesome dude. And I love it. And yeah.
We're out.
Whoop. Have a good one. Better than flying in the mouth.
And I'm yawning right now. Just swallow it.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Jeff.
Happy Memorial Day, too.
Yep. And we're out.
Yep, we are out. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know, set the world on fire.